different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.
Hello there. It's about that time when we completely focus on matters persons with disabilities. This is Able Differently, a program where we take charge.
The past few weeks have been full of activities, and we've been on the ground to keep you updated with these events. Keep it able differently. I am Beatrice Nyokabi.
And I'm CG Moses.
Karibuni.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Action Foundation Kenya has developed an application that parents and caregivers of children with different needs can use as an educational tool. Our team was present during the launch and they compiled the following report.
The Action Foundation Kenya, together with various stakeholders, held an event on September 6th to launch the Somesha app, which was spearheaded in the year 2015.
Our Somesha project started in 2015, and since we started, we've worked with 22 different schools in Kibra and in Kawangware. You'll hear from one of our teachers about her experience in general with the program, as well as her experience using the app, because that is what has brought us here today.
The app developer, Mr. Kelvin Mwangi, was present at the launch and spoke of his journey since its inception.
My journey with the Action Foundation goes back, I think, 2 years ago. And it has been a nice journey because it so happened Maria met with Professor Mugenda at the former VCKU, and they shared a theme of two. And through the connection of Professor Mugenda, whom I've worked with in the past, she was referred to me, and we have developed quite a number of software with the Action Foundation. I am so proud of the foundation. You have touched lives. You have really helped a lot. I have visited the hub and I see all the stuff that they do. It's an organization that I'm proud to be associated with.
Beneficiaries of the Somesha app showered it with lots of praise, terming it as an educational tool for persons with disabilities.
Somesha ametutrain, ametulisha, na ametuconnect with friends, and we share ideas. And in the app, Somesha app, we have asked so many questions and they have been answered so well. We are more educated than when we began. So I can say we have reached somewhere and we are going far.
Technology has played a big role in enhancing communication, especially for the able differently.
Smartphones were kind of brought for people who have impairment. Why? Because most of the functions that it allows us to do are those that we can do only when we have smartphones. With my Mkamuzi, I may not do that. But once I happen to have a smartphone, then it will be in a position to accept installation of, say, a screen reader, such that inaweza niongelesha, and then I'll be able to know what I'm doing. If it's a contact, I will save. Now I'll be able to interact with the phone to do the very basic things like calling, texting, saving a contact, doing mobile money transfer, and now get to a bit complicated things like interacting with applications like WhatsApp and Tusome, Facebook and others.
Luckily, the Ministry of Education has given a lot of support in technological advancements by working hand in hand with the relevant authorities.
ICT and integration in education is a major shift in this 21st century and the future world. This world where I heard someone say that in the next few years, if I get to a class and I cannot understand mathematics, I can go for surgery and have my brain adjusted so that I understand mathematics very fast. Multimedia offers opportunity for information in print to be provided in various accessible forms because not all can read printed material, Not all can hear audio information. Not all can comprehend complex diagrams that actually need to be simplified into a series of diagrams that build up to complex ones. So the Directorate of Special Needs Education greatly applauds this partnership and initiative and hopes that much will be realized beyond this launch.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. The International Day of Sign Language was marked this week, and this year's theme is Embracing Inclusivity Through Sign Language for All. Take a look.
23rd to 28th of September 2019 marked the International Deaf Awareness Week, with the 23rd specifically marking the International Day of Sign Language. Slick Hub, in partnership with the Kenya Institute of Special Education, had an event to recognize the Sign Language Day.
Today is a very great day for us. We are having a forum to recognize the International Day of Sign Language, and sign language being one of the communication components that we have within the disability world. We wanted really to recognize it by involving not only the deaf, because the language, we believe sign language is not a language for the deaf only, it's a language for everyone. So how then should we embrace sign language for inclusivity? So that's why we are having this forum, so that we are able to discuss and get to know, and actually awareness on us who we call ourselves abled, to get oriented, or the awareness onto how then we can have that kind of inclusion in the society.
Kenya Sign Language has been recognized as the third language in Kenya after Kiswahili and English. However, it still remains a challenge since many people have not yet embraced it.
Sign language is not a language for the deaf only, it's a language for all of us. And because Slick Hub is more of inclusivity through communication, we picked sign language as one of the most acceptable communication component within the disability world that the hearing or abled can be able to grasp or get interested in very fast, so that we can be able to slowly or quickly get rid of certain attitudes and mindset that we've always had within the disability community. So if at all we are able to deal with the attitudes and the mindset, then we'll start the journey of inclusivity.
Professor Ndurumo from the University of Nairobi is one of the pioneers of sign language in Kenya.
About sign language, we started developing it in 1982. At that time, I had just come from America, and that was a very critical time. We were to change from oral method to where we are using Kenyan Sign Language in collaboration with speech and speech reading. It took some years. The government accepted that proposal very well, and the teachers of the deaf also accepted it. The deaf community also accepted it. So we started working to develop sign language in Kenya in 1982. And in 1985, we had Machakos School for the Deaf set aside to pilot sign language to see if the method can work. In 1987, Machakos School for the Deaf was evaluated, and it was found to do better than others that followed oral method. And in 1988, we had our first book on Kenyan Sign Language.
He admits that we have not yet achieved much as a country when it comes to the deaf and the mode of communication, but great strides have been made.
Sign language is dynamic, and deaf people, knowledge keeps improving. So we cannot just continue with the basic Kenyan Sign Language. We have to keep expanding it. We have to add STEM subjects, add IT subjects and vocabularies, and also have other academic vocabularies and so on. That way we are able to improve deaf education in Kenya.
His only worry is the number of deaf people in the university, which reflects back to inclusive education.
Right now we have 35 deaf people with university education. That's a very small number. We need to expand and have more and more deaf people going to universities. Some can become engineers, some can become lawyers, some can become lecturers, and so on.
Diana from Sleek Hub recommends that parents should know sign language and teach their children at a young age to make it sustainable.
We use sign language just from the babies. You know, as the babies are growing, you use our own kind of sign language. We can call it home language, home sign language. But now as they get to school, now introduce them to the language that is known. Now that the language that is known by many, that's the language that the parents should also learn, you know, and also ensure that her environment, the siblings, if at all their siblings, cousins, you know, such people, neighbors, you introduce them again to the language, because you do not want a situation whereby your child, and that's what usually happens, your child is growing, is deaf, communication is already a problem, they come home and they do not communicate to anyone. So when it comes to social interaction, is blocked. So already his life, his goals, whatever, they're already blocked because of communication barriers.
It's a very expensive affair, and I would like to encourage the deaf people to take journalism as a course, and as Prof was saying, train them in it's called universal access in terms of a language that journalists actually is able to use in the field for purposes of creating news. Remember, you have to broadcast within the ethical code of broadcasting. If you don't just say anything on TV, because you're feeding out the population. Thank you.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Sports is very important. Many individuals, both regulars and able differently alike, have made careers out of sports. In this respect, Confederation of Africa Deaf Athletics held the Africa Deaf Athletics in Kasarani. Take a look.
Africa Deaf Athletics Championships finally took place at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, from 16th to 22nd September. It was the first of its kind, and Kenya had the honors of being the host.
We have had the first day today, and we hope and have seen how it has proceeded well.
And ladies and gentlemen, gold medalist, the World Junior 200 meters record holder, 24.
Beryl Wamiru went out of her way to win Kenya the first gold medal in women's 100 meters, followed closely by Nigeria's Assurance Omoira. Beryl said the race was fair enough, as she was well prepared for everything and anything.
My name is Beryl Wamira. I'm athletic, running 100 meters and 200 meters. True, before I came to practice and I win gold for 100 meters. And also last time ago I had to run for different championship and I have gold. So from when I was young, I used to run, and that's why I cannot miss a gold. Yeah. Also, sometimes I go and compete with hearing people.
Another lucky athlete who claimed gold was Uganda's Nyakato Jennifer in the women's 800 meters.
I don't have any challenge because from ago, I have went for other athletics, So I was the only deaf. I was going to different athletic. That's why I have experience. So this is very easy for me because I have experience. Yeah.
The total number of countries participating in the games were 12, and the athletes had to be cued using a special light.
Yesterday, we had the Japan team came to help us on the technicality of the lighting. The first time to see that, that's what we have been using. Remember, the deaf people are looking down, so they cannot hear, and sign language is visual. So the only thing that I can do, we thought they would connect the lighting. We cannot be having the voice because they cannot hear, so they will prefer using the lightings, which are there. We have 3. We have the red, we have yellow, which is orange, and also we have green.
Mohammed is hopeful that this will not be a one-time affair.
After 4 years, it's a long time. I hope they are ready to accept whatever we'll be offering and also develop the athletics in Africa. We hope that is going to proceed on well. And also, other sports like having also football, volleyball.
At the end of it all, winners were awarded for their hard work.
Silver medalist representing the Republic of Nigeria, Assurance Omoira.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability.
Article 6 of the UN Convention states that state parties recognize that women and girls with disabilities are subject to multiple discrimination, and in this regard shall take measures to ensure the full and equal enjoyment by them of all human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Well, today's tip is all about the deaf. When 2 or more deaf people are having a conversation, do not cross between them.
This is because you between them interferes with the direct line of communication, and some of them might not be forgiving.
Well, that's all we have for today. Until next week, I've been your host, CG Moses.
And I am Beatrice Nyokabi. Kwaherini.
I'm Cody.
Hi, Cody.
I'm Cody.
How old are you?
I am 22 years old.
Yeah.
Who are you, miss? Who are you?
I'm Mom.
Oh,
I'm
hi,
Tina
Mom.
Lee. Hi, Tina. How are you? What are you going to do here for us today?
I'm gonna sing a song for you on the piano.
I love it. Cody is blind and autistic.
Wow.
We found out that he loved music really early on. He listened and his eyes just went huge. And he started singing. And that's when I was in tears, because that's when I realized, oh my gosh, he's an entertainer. So, yeah.
I've been to so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs, and I made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life in stages, 10,000 people watching, yeah. We're alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. I love you in a place, oh, there's no space or time. I love you from my life. You're a friend of mine. But when my life is over, remember we're together. We're alone now,
The winner of the $1 million and the star of the headline show in Las Vegas is... Give it up one more time for Detroit Youth Choir.